All right. Good evening, everyone. I see here around 50 plus attendees in Zoom. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I believe we made this webinar exclusive to existing First MetroSec clients. So I'd like to express my gratitude for using our service. And I hope we are able not only to provide you with a good platform to execute your investment needs, but also provide you with educational content like this one tonight. No? And tonight, we're going to discuss about decoding the investor's mind, how to overcome behavioral biases. And I think this is very timely for existing First MetroSec account holders, as probably you have started your investing journey. But as you might have experienced, while you are investing, you might be encountering this common behavioral biases. And I hope tonight I'll be able to share with you some tips on how to overcome those behavioral biases. And by acknowledging it, you'll be able to be aware of it and make the necessary steps not to succumb to these behavioral biases. All right. So good evening, everyone. For me to know as well, I'd like to know more about you guys now. While we are about to start pa. Can you please type in what city you're joining us from tonight? No, so you can just type in the chat box what city you're listening or tuning into. If you're outside of the Philippines, you can actually type in the country you're in right now. So, ayan, thank you so much. Now, we see here people, OFWs. We have OFWs from Dubai. We also have locals here from Zamboanga. Uh, another, more people from the Luzon area, Batangas, Cavite, Pasig, Makati, Bulacan, Marikina. But not only that, we also have people in the Mindanao area, no, like Pagadian City. Ayan, thank you so much for your participation. And also, syempre, hindi papahuli yung mga people from Visayas, no, sa people from Bacolod City and so forth. More OFWs from Kuala Lumpur and Papua New Guinea. Thank you for joining us. Kababayan, no, dito. Siguro taga same city where I am in. I am currently in Davao City, so welcome. More OFWs from Qatar and back here sa Philippines, people from Negros sa Visayas, another one from Bohol. Yan, thank you so much. Again, parang daming OFWs, no? Korea, Malaysia, South Korea, no? Dami. So thank you. Welcome everyone, no, for participating. I'm happy to see the reach of our service, no, na as I mentioned, most of you are existing First MetroSec clients. So we're happy that it's on a international scale. All right. So thank you so much for that active participation. Now, just to introduce myself now before we get started with the topics of discussion tonight, I consider myself one of the lucky ones in life kasi pagkapanganak ko pa lang, meron na agad akong Bilyones. And again, that's my name. I am John Philip Bilyones. No? So sa pangalan pa lang po yan siya. But it's something to aspire for, but I think you don't need that much money in order to be really happy. No? So we have different levels of how we define our rich lives. No? So but always no something nice to aspire for. But I hope with that introduction you get to remember me, no? Para at least may connection doon sa pinag-usapan natin, which is actually wealth building. Now, I currently serve as the Business Development Section Head for the Mindanao Desk of First Metro Security. So probably yung mga people in attendance tonight na taga Mindanao, I hope we are regularly serving you, no? Kasi you are within our area of responsibility. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to have worked with First Metro Sec. And I have actually a number of professional licenses because it comes with a job. I'm a licensed securities representative. I'm also a certified trust professional, a certified UITF salesperson, and some micro credentials when it comes to the financial market. But for me, again, I consider myself lucky kasi this job is also a passion of mine. It has been really passion talaga yung pagturo ng financial and investment literacy because most of the things that I'm going to share to you tonight, how I wish someone taught this to me at a much earlier age. I consider myself medyo nag-start late, no? How I wish I started earlier. But I guess lahat naman ng mga investors, when they really appreciate investing, parang yun yung mga initial reaction nila na we know the power of compounding and earlier is better. But we don't know when the part ng buhay natin na dumadating yung investing, no? Kailan natin siya na-appreciate. Ang importante na kapag simula tayo. No? And I guess you're already there because you're existing First Metrosec clients. I'm also a member of the Finance Educators Association. Again, it's more of alignment of passion, no? Again, I really love to teach about financial and investment literacy. Now, First Metrosec is part of the Metro Bank Group. So, you probably know Metro Bank, you probably have accounts with them. But kami medyo specialized yung clients that we cater because we are part of the investment banking arm. So, you probably know our sister company, AXA, and First Metrosec, more naman into pure investments. And since we're talking about investments, you also need to know the regulators. So, when you check the registry of participants ng SEC, you can see the name of our company there, what's our company licenses, and also the licensed representatives within that company. And since our main bread and butter is stock trading, you can also check PSE's website for the directory of online brokers. You'll be able to see their First Metro securities. And this was already shown during the start, no, yung mga early. But for the benefit of those who just came in, I just want to share with you that this is what we do day in and day out. We conduct market education initiatives on multiple ways, no? We have reached 50,000 individuals, and we have conducted hundreds of seminars, be it webinars on site or mga podcast or other means and ways to really engage with you. And this is one of those things. No? So we're very happy that naka-attend kayo tonight despite I know it's a Thursday evening, so thank you so much for joining us tonight. That brings us back to our topic tonight, which is decoding the investor's mind and how to overcome the behavioral biases. I just want to give you a heads up. If you have attended my past webinars, I tend to be quite interactive. And I encourage you to be really interactive, like yung ginawa niyo sa Stimula that you've been really responding. Kasi I guess that's the next best thing we can do in an online session. Kasi di ba, I don't know your reaction on the other side of the camera. The best thing that would let me know that you're still there, you're following what we're discussing, is that you get to participate. And we have actually a couple of activities to drive home some of the points of these behavioral biases. So I encourage you to really participate. So for me to know if you're game to do that, can you please type in ready? Okay? Please type in ready. If you'd... Yan. Sige, let's see. Okay, ayan. Thank you so much. Ayan, I'm getting tons of responses. Thank you for your participation. Ayan. Right, good. I am happy to see that. All right. So let's start off with this. No? As I mentioned, meron tayong mga games, no, or mga activities. So I'd like to start off with the ultimatum game. No? So for this, siguro, I'll be highlighting siguro two attendees natin tonight, no. But anyways, when you call the ultimatum game, no, I'll be asking for volunteers for a proposer and a responder. So siguro identify yourself na lang, no. Identify yourself whether you're a proposer or responder. So usually sa ultimatum game, ang mga rules talaga nito is that the proposer, I'll be giving the proposer sum of money. Okay? So the proposer, he can suggest how much he will give to the responder. Okay? So that's the task, no? I will give the proposer money, pero the proposer is the person who will have the power to suggest how much he is going to give the responder. Now, to the responder, he has the option to accept the offer. And if the responder accepts the offer, both keep the money. Okay? So for example, ibibigay niya is this amount. Then if the responder accepts the offer, then they both keep the money. However, if the responder rejects the offer, sabi niya ayaw niya yung offer, then both don't win anything. Okay? So siguro for this one, I'll be just calling in two people, no? So siguro just volunteers, no? No need to unmute yourself. You just need to type in, and I hope you put in the option na send it to everyone so everyone sees it. So by any chance, is there a person who'd like to volunteer as proposer? Can you just type in me, and the first one will be the one I'll be using as the proposer. Okay, just the first one. Okay. All right, so I'll take in Sir Leandro. Okay, Sir Leandro, you'll be the proposer. How about the responder? Who would like to volunteer as the responder? Okay, anyone lang. It's just a quick game. Okay. Can you type in me if you want to be the responder? Okay, so we have here already Sir Leandro as the proposer, and the responder, very easy job. You accept the offer or not. Okay. So going once, meron ba? Wala? Ayan. Thank you, Sir Christian. Okay, Sir Christian, you'll be the responder. Okay? So for Sir Leandro, he will be the proposer, and Sir Christian will be the responder. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to chat directly Sir Leandro. Okay? But I'm going to exclusively chat him. Hindi niyo makikita sa chat box, but I'll chat him a certain amount to give to Sir Christian. Okay? So, Sir Leandro, I'm going to give you this amount. So, please check your chat box. Ayan. Now, I already gave you the amount, no? So, you can see that in your chat box. Now, what I want you to do, Sir Leandro, is I want you to decide how much you're going to give Sir Christian. But, what I want you to do is I want you to type in it in the chat box so everyone sees it and also Sir Christian sees it. Okay? So yes, Sir Leandro, can you type in how much you're going to give, how much you're going to offer, Sir Christian? Okay, so Sir Leandro offered 10,000. Okay, so Sir Christian as the responder, would you accept the offer or reject it? Oh, Sir Christian rejected it. So for per the rules of our game, okay, per rules of our game, since Sir Christian rejected it, both of them will not win anything. So they both will not take any money. Okay, so that is the ultimatum game. And I just want to share with you guys that just so you'll know what happened in the back, no? I actually gave Sir Leandro 100,000 pesos. Okay? As you can see in the chat box as well, he offered Sir Christian 10,000 pesos. And Sir Christian rejected that offer. Okay? So, how do we digest this activity, this ultimatum game? Now, this is how traditional economic theory suggests that each of the Sir Christian and Sir Leandro. The proposer will actually follow rational maximization. Okay, so I understand why Sir Leandro only offered 10,000 out of that 100,000. Mabait na nga yung 10,000, no? Kasi actually kahit 1,000 lang ibigay ni Sir Leandro, that's within bounds of the common thinking, no? That the proposer should follow rational maximization kasi at the end, hindi naman alam ni Sir Christian magkano yung amount. Okay? And it makes sense. Ako, I understand, Sir Leandro, bakit 10,000 lang out of that 100,000. Now, the responder, actually, ito lang yung medyo different, no? Because I was actually expecting Sir Christian to accept it, no? Kasi, irregardless of how much I gave Sir Leandro, even if Sir Christian doesn't know it, the responder, no, theoretically, should accept any offer. Kahit piso lang po yung ibigay ni Sir Leandro, he should accept that since this is actually better than what they have. Because as you can see right now, si Sir Christian, zero. He has zero, no? But ngayon may opportunity na binigay sa kanya, nabibigyan siya ng 10,000. No other condition. All he has to do is to accept or reject it. Okay? So this is what traditional economic theory suggests, that the proposal should follow rational maximization. Usually niyan, maliit yung bibigay niya, which is okay, so that he keeps the difference. Pero yung responder, no matter how small the proposer gives, the logical thing to do is to accept it. Because again, like in this case, 10,000 is better than zero. Okay? So that's what traditional economic theory suggests. Now, this is where mental accounting bias comes in, no? Na parang this is one of the first behavioral biases of people na like in this case, may free money na 10,000 but we did not take it, no? Probably because we were thinking na baka higher yung nabigay sa proposer, but that should not matter, no? Kasi again, 10,000 is still free money kumbaga. And we see mental accounting bias in many ways in how we handle finances. Na for example, when we receive monetary gifts, no, in different occasions, whether it's for our birthday or for our anniversaries, but sometimes we take them for granted since it's something added to us. Parang we think we have the right to really spend it, no? But whether we got that money from our hard-earned salary or it's just a monetary gift, we should treat them the same way, no? Another one, for example, when our allowance or uh, our income increases, 'di ba? So, 'di ba for example sa mga trabaho natin probably yung income yung ano natin may mga opportunities naman to have performance bonuses or merit increases na naturally nagbibigay ng increase yung company. But sometimes when we feel that we have more money, we feel like we should have a better life, no? Or yung parang we should have better things in life kumbaga. But sometimes nakakalimutan natin that we should also increase, not only should we improve our lifestyle, we should also increase our savings and investments. Okay, tapos paminsan, 'di ba? Pag 15:30 usually kung employee ka, when you receive your salary 15:30 pero the day before that, meron ka pang excess na pera, yung tendency natin is we spend that knowing that tomorrow there's another fresh batch of money. So again, that's another mental accounting bias kasi dapat since may sobra tayo, that should have been an opportunity for us to save more money. And we see that as well kahit mga employees, no, when we receive 13th month pay, parang yung expectation natin, that's an opportunity for us to spend on things na hindi natin afford on our regular na monthly income. So parang gusto natin siya iwaldas. Pero again, that 13th month pay is an opportunity for you to save 1 month worth of your income. So kung wala ka pang emergency fund, that's an opportunity to boost your emergency fund. Kasi if you think about it logically, walang 13th month sa calendar. So kung walang 13th month sa calendar, there shouldn't be any 13th month related expenses. So if we follow the cash flow that income minus savings is equal to expenses, since we don't have expenses, your income should equal your savings for that 13th month. So that's actually an opportunity for you to save up more. Performance bonuses as well, no? Kung may mga mid-year bonuses kayo coming up, you can consider to really save or invest that money, no? Doesn't mean that it's something performance driven. You should also be spending that like kasi dahil meron ka pang regular na income. Some people as well, no, na gusto nilang mag-ipon, no? They're saving money, pero at the same time, they have high interest debt. Okay, so imagine, no, you have debt, you're paying it off, pero hindi mo siya pinaprioritize. Gusto mo mag-save, no? Which is tama din naman. Pero imagine, yung savings mo, it's only earning you, sabihin natin, magkano na ba ngayon? 0.125%. Or kahit sa mga high yield savings account na umaabot ng higher, mga 3, 4, 5%, depende where you have that high yield savings account. Pero kahit sabihin natin 1% yung savings mo, yung growth niya in a year, pero you also have high interest debt na usually dyan mga 10% per annum. So parang there's a mental accounting bias there na you should be actually prioritizing paying off debt than yung savings. Again, savings is important, pero if you were to put an allocation to it, baka you might consider paying this off higher, no? Kasi this is high interest, it's eating money away from you, and you have here something that's growing less than that. Okay? So, yeah, ang dami, no? Mental accounting bias yan sila. So, I hope you are able to overcome that. So, that brings me to the first investment mistake, no? Because you have this mental accounting bias, it leads you to this first investment mistake, which is building it on a shaky financial ground. So, that's why I mentioned na may levels of wealth yan when it comes to building it. Number one, you know how to manage your money. Second, you need to protect that kasi may mga uncertainties talaga yung buhay. Then you go to growing that money. Okay, so may levels yan. And mas maganda mag-invest if we have a solid foundation. Marunong tayo mag-manage ng pera natin and at the same time, meron tayong protection. Okay, so that we don't have to sell our investments earlier than expected kasi may mga immediate needs tayo. Okay? So that's the first investment mistakes because of this behavioral bias. So how do we overcome this bias? You have to understand that money is just money. No, it's really no. That's the simpler version of when people say that money is fungible. Money is just money, regardless of the source. No, whether it's our regular income, whether it's something that we did not expect, or is something na bonus siya or something, we should treat them the same way. Kasi yung ginagawa ng iba, since they think that something na hindi nila expected, they can actually spend it like they did not work hard for it. But again, money is money, so it's really fungible. So when you understand that, you'll be able to think about it na, since I have this money, what is the logical thing for me to do? And one of the ways that can help you is to create a budget. That's very important. Kung meron kayong tira sa mga specific cycles niyo, you save and invest the difference. Kasi actually, kung alam mo na yung yung regular na savings rate that you need in order to achieve your financial goals, if you're able to save and invest more, that tells you that you can probably achieve your goals at a much faster rate. And very important, you need to focus on paying off debt. Again, sometimes when we are in the messy middle of stuff, no, sa buhay natin, we need to balance things out. Let's not forget na paying off high interest debt should be a priority, no? Kasi it's eating away wealth, no? So kumbaga, it's yung interest doon is also compounding. So it's actually working against us. So whatever we are letting our money grow, parang na-offset niya lang. Or even worse, baka hindi niya pa matalo yung high interest debt. And very important ito, plan for unexpected income. So ano yun niya? You have a plan na whenever you receive something that's unexpected, you have a plan for it already. Para pagdating niya, hindi ka na magugulat na hindi mo alam anong gagawin mo. So that's sometimes the reason bakit we don't spend it or we don't save or invest it. Okay, so I hope those tips can help you overcome mental accounting bias. Now, next, no, let's have another game. Now, we have the 100 peso auction. Okay, so I believe you guys are really familiar about auction and how they work, no? So what I'm going to auction right now is a 100 peso bill. Okay? Now, kanina, dalawang tao lang, no, 2 volunteers, but now, I want everyone to join in. Okay? Now, this 100 peso auction is very simple. Syempre, no, alam naman natin, di ba? Whoever is the highest bidder pays and wins the 100 pesos. So the bidding will actually start at 5 pesos, okay? And we can go in increments of 5 or higher. Okay? Depende na how things will go later. Okay? But don't start it, ha? Again, I'm auctioning a 100 peso bill. The highest bidder pays and wins that 100 pesos. Now, here's a special rule for this auction. The second highest bidder, di ba, syempre magbibid kayo later. The second highest bidder also needs to pay but takes home nothing. Okay, so that's the rule of the game. You bid for that 100 peso bill. The highest bidder takes home that 100, but the second highest bidder also needs to pay its bid, final bid niya, but he gets to take home nothing. Okay? So with that, no, we can start the 100 peso auction. Okay, do we have a taker for 5 pesos? Who would like to bid 5 pesos? Ayan, bilis. Sir Leandro. Oh, dahan-dahan lang po. Hindi ko nahabol sa chat box. Kasi the first bidder here, we have 5. Tapos followed by John Leo at 10. Tapos Aris now at 90. No? So then we have here Don at 100. Okay, so by the way, for this one, I hope you get to chat to everyone para kita nila lahat. So, sige, assuming natin, hindi natin nakita kasi to the host and panelist lang yung isa. So, we have here bids at 10, 50, 25. Ayan. So, the highest bidder right now, that's for everyone, is nasa 90. but it's already up to 99. Okay, sige. Hold on. Again, increments of 5 po, no? Increments of 5. So, I'll only take yung mga increments of 5. Hold on. Ayan, hindi ko na ma-follow. Anyways, okay. So, we have here a highest bidder at 105. So, we have Francia. So, marami na kanina, no? But less than 100 siya. So, the highest bidder right now, we have Francia. So, 105 yung bid niya. So, balikan ko ng later. Ayan, we have Everly Kerr at 120. Okay, so highest bid right now is 120. Second highest bid is 110. Okay, again guys, please chat chat it to everyone para makita po ng lahat. Again, highest bid right now is 120. Yan, it's Everly Kerr followed by 110 si John Leo. So these are our two top bidders. Yung isa medyo naka-host and panelist so di makita na iba. Yan, we have here higher bidders. We have John Leo at 125. Hindi ko na basahin. Ayan, we have higher bids. We have Francia at 135. Okay, sige. We have higher bid. We have Justin at 140. Okay, so sige, highest bid is si 140. Virgilia 145. Ayan, meron pa. Hindi magpatalo no. John Leo at 200. Okay? Second highest bidder is still we now have Everly Kerr at 150. Ayan, may isa higher pero naka-host and panelist so hindi kita. So again, we have here top bidder right now goes to John Leo. Second highest bidder is at 150. Ayan. So, first, top bidder is still at 200. Si John Leo. Pero second highest bid right now is 160. Si Amethyst. Okay. Okay. Ayan. Di pa di tumigil, no? We have first na nag 210. We have Everly Kerr at 210. Okay. Second highest bidder, we now have Virgilia at 199. Again, as much as possible, ano po, increments of 5. Ayan, I think the highest bidder now is at 215. 215 si Joel. Second highest bidder is sino yun? Everly at 210. Okay, Joel at 215, Everly at 210. Okay? So, ayan, say going once, going twice. Meron pa ba? Ayan, meron pa, 220. Rennie at 220. So, ibig sabihin, ang second highest bidder right now, si Joel at 215. Highest bidder is si Rennie at 220. Okay? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Ayan, ayaw patalo ni Joel. No? Joel now at 225. Ayan, highest bidder, we have Miss Catherine at 400. So, highest bidder right now is at 400. Second highest bidder is Joel at 225. Ayan, si Everly, ayaw patalo, 500 sa kanya. Ayan, we now have Julie at 450. So, top bidder is 500. Second highest bidder is at 450. Going once, going twice, thrice. Okay, we'll have to close it, no? Kasi we're in a little bit of limited time. So, nagbibiro si Sir John Leo, no? Again, this is just a game, something virtual, ano, so we can have a fun about it. But again, the rules of the 100 peso auction is this. The highest bidder pays. Ayan, so we stop at 500 na po, no? So hindi na natin i-ano yung iba. So we have here si Everly at 500. So highest bidder, so congratulations. You're going to pay 500 pesos for the 100 peso bill that was being auctioned. So now I hope during that exercise meron kayong na-realize, no? But again, special na rule for this auction is that the second highest bidder also needs to pay. So si Julie at 450 will still pay 450. But she gets to take home nothing. Okay? So again, don't worry guys, this is just a game. It's a virtual game, so no cash involved actually. But it's an activity to me to drive home a point, no? So anong nangyari doon, no? Sa simula po ng auction, no, yung mga bids natin nasa range of 5, 45, 50 pa, each bidder was actually rational, no? They were making rational decisions kasi there's really an opportunity to win 100 at a bargain. Kasi imagine, no, if you pay 45 or 50, you'll be taking home 100. Pero again, it was only logical up to that point. Again, 5, 10, 20, 25, ganon. It was logical only up until 45 and 50 bids. Kasi if you add up that two, that is 95. And 95 is still at a discount sa 100. So that's logical pa sa simula ng auction. Now, after 45 and 50 bid, paglagpas natin sa 55 and 60 na bid, during that time, you feel it's profitable, but actually hindi na. Kasi 'di ba, if we're going to add 55 and 60, that's already 105. Pero kayo, mga individual bidders, you will feel 55 for 100 is profitable. 60 for 100 is profitable. Pero actually, if you add the two, talo na kayong dalawa because of that special rule sa auction. Okay? You felt profitable, but actually not. And that leads me to the investment mistake number 2, chasing high returns and underestimating risk. Okay? Kasi you're only looking at the return, yung 100, pero na-underestimate mo na pwede ka pala maging second highest bidder, so you should take into account the final two bids. Because at 55 and 60, that's already above 100. Kasi 55 plus 60, that's 105. Okay? Or actually, mga ano na yan, 115 na. So you were chasing high returns which you felt was profitable, but you underestimated the risk na pwede kang maging second place, which kailangan mo pa rin magbayad. Okay? So that's where the prospect theory comes in. No? This is the idea that investors place more weight on perceived gains than perceived losses. No? Sometimes tayo as investors, parang yung tinitingnan lang natin magkano yung potential upside. Hindi natin na-factor in ano yung potential downside natin. Kaya ako, when I talk about this stuff, if you attend my basic education on stock trading doon sa technical analysis, I really emphasize that you should really factor in first your risk. Even sa mga investment 101s, no, you have 3 factors. You have return, risk, and time horizon. Paminsan, no, in our line of business, yung tinatanong sa amin una is, magkano yung kikitain dyan? But for me, that's my last consideration. I'd consider that as my third question. Kasi yung una dapat natin tatanungin is that, kaya ba natin yung risk involved for that specific type of investment? That should be the first question. Can I take the risk? Do I have the risk appetite for that specific investment? Then you ask, tama ba siya sa time horizon? Kasi kung 10 years out yung goal mo, then pwede siya sa stocks. If it's somewhere between 1 to 7 years or 5 years, baka mas maganda siya sa bonds. Pero if 1 year or less yung goal mo, then money market might be a good place to put it. Goal-based investment. Before you talk about returns, no? So, ano ba yung expected returns ko? Is that something that's realistic for my financial goal? Hindi baliktad, no? Na unahin natin tinitingnan yung potential returns. Even though again, as investors, yun talaga yung gusto natin. But when we do that kasi, baka we're just looking at the returns and we are blinded by the losses. And again, you have to understand there's always market risk in any form of investment. So, if we're going to relate that in the 100 peso auction, no? Nung umabot na sa bids na 100, 105, 110, nag-enter na tayo sa escalation trap. Okay? Napansin niyo, 'di ba? Doon na nag-escalate kasi parang ayaw na magpatalo. Kasi again, pagdating mo sa bid ng 100, 105 and 110, no? You are going to escalate it lang kasi alam mo talo ka na, no? Kasi you're paying 110 for 100 peso, you're paying 120 for 100 peso. Then your inclination is ayaw mo na lang maging second place, no? You just want to become the highest bidder para at least ikaw yung manalo. Kahit at the end of the day talo ka, 'di ba? Like how we ended right now, 500 pesos for a 100 peso bill. No? But there was that escalation. Napansin niyo rin, 'di ba? Parang kumonte yung nagbids as we went higher than 100. And medyo yung mga final bids, medyo konti na lang sila, probably 3, 4 or 5 na lang sila na nag-e-escalate, no? But again, they're just there to at least, no, parang yung thinking nila, bahala na ako matalo ng 5 at least bahala na matalo ako ng 500, at least I get to take home 100. Basta hindi lang ako yung 450 or yung 400, Now, I don't get to take home anything. Okay, that's the escalation trap. Okay, and when you are at this point, it really gets harder and harder to quit. Okay, and it actually ends when one of them says enough is enough. Okay, and I think na-experience natin yan during the auction. Okay, again, it's just virtual, but I hope meron kayong natutunan as you went through that experience. Kasi when you invest or trade stocks, sometimes I hope you remember this activity. Okay? So we have this behavioral bias called loss aversion bias. Kasi yung ano natin no, yung psychological pain or pleasure that we receive no, if we syempre kung gain siya, it's something pleasurable for us. Pero yung magnitude niya for the same amount of win, if we compare that to the losses, mas malaki yung nilalagay natin, no? Parang mas nasasaktan tayo sa loss. So, for example, in this, I'll put up my pointer option. No? So, we're talking here about psychological value and the amount of loss and gains. So, sabihin natin if you earn $100 or 100 pesos, parang hanggang dyan lang yung psychological value. Yes, you're happy. Pero if you lose 100 pesos or $100, parang ano siya, exponential siya, yung tipong for the same amount, you feel pain at a much higher magnitude. Okay? Kaya we have this loss aversion bias. No? And that's the reason bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng certainty effect. So again, siguro for this, I'll call on some people. Sige, everyone na lang in attendance. If I were to ask you guys, this is, let's call this investment A and this is investment B. If I were to ask you, which investment would you like, are you more inclined to invest in? Is it investment A or investment B? Sige nga, let me check the chat box. Ayan, I'm getting answers. Ayan, A. Ayan, I see a mix, no? But I think mas maraming A kesa B. Okay? I think that's just fair, no? You can see it naman din sa chat box, di ba? It's a mix between A and B, pero seems like mas maraming gusto ng A. And that's the certainty effect. Because natural for human beings to prefer certainties over probabilities. Like this one, parang investment A, always may percentage, no? Sabihin natin dividends to, no? So it always gives dividends and parang walang loss sa kanya, di ba? If we compare that to investment, pero compare that to investment B, volatile siya kasi paminsan mataas, paminsan mababa, paminsan negative, 'di ba? So may ano siya, may probability no or uncertainty sa kanya. And natural yung ginawa niyo na you prefer A than B kasi mas gusto natin 'to. Kahit when you look at the rates of return, nasa ano lang, mga below 10%, most of them nga below 5%. But here, there are years that are returning higher than that. May mga 30%, may mga 20%, no? Pero paminsan yung volatility niya, ayaw niya. Okay? So, I understand bakit you choose A over B. We prefer certainties over probabilities. But what if I show you another data? If I'm going to share to you that the compounded annual growth rate of investment A is only 5.97% and investment B is at 8.03%, meron ba sa inyo na gusto mag-shift from A to B knowing that this actually has a higher annual growth rate? Sige nga. Meron ba? Yan. So you see, meron 'di ba? Merong kayo mismo nakikita niyo sa chat box. You chose A kasi akala nyo mas gusto niyo certainty. Ayaw niyo yung nakikita niyo sa letter B na volatile, probabilistic, di natin alam kung meron, wala, profitable, negative. Okay? Pero when we show you another number na this is actually has a lower annual growth rate than this one, meron pa ding, marami sa inyo shift to letter B. Okay? But again, I see here some comments, no? Yung una, yes, meron nag-shift. Pero meron din nagsabi dito na no, still A. And that's okay. Dito na pumapasok yung tinatawag natin na risk tolerance. Kasi kahit maganda yung returns niyan, kung in the first place hindi mo kaya yung risk involved with it, this is the risk, then you stick with what you are comfortable with. Okay, and I'm happy that I see that because you're actually overcoming a certain behavioral bias already na hindi ka na nag-chase ng gains kasi alam mo na sa sarili mo na hindi ka hiyang to that kind of risk. Okay, so that's good. No? So I'm happy and to see those types of responses as well. Okay. Now that leads me to investment mistake number 3. No, missing out on long-term gains. Okay, and sorry, ayan again ha. That's number 3, missing out on long-term gains. Now, tayo as human beings, no, 'di ba? Dumaan naman tayo ng biology lahat, 'di ba? Alam natin that we have a really powerful brain, no? We are really born to be logical, pero for some reason we tend to live irrationally, no? Because of many behavioral biases. That's what we're trying to unpack tonight. So, another behavioral bias that I'd like to discuss is the confirmation bias, wherein investors tend to seek information that confirms their existing beliefs and ignore contradictory evidence. So, for example, di ba, you are presented with facts and evidence. Okay? But those facts and evidence will actually converge with our beliefs. No? Kasi syempre, that's something new for us. But we already have pre-existing beliefs. Unfortunately, because of this confirmation bias, the evidence that we believe, no, from the facts and evidence that we see is only those that is aligned with our beliefs, 'di ba? So, ibig sabihin natin dito lang tayo nakafocus, no? And we ignore the other facts and evidence. So that's why, for example, nagjo-join kayo ng mga Facebook groups, no, na uh, sabi nila may mga hot stock tips daw sila doon, no? So, you join that, parang nainteresado ka. So ikaw, syempre medyo may alam ka, you research to prove its potential, no? Pero there's actually a reason kung bakit kayo naging interesado doon sa stock. Baka noon pa lang you're already interested in it. Pero ngayon merong nag-present sa iyo na, uy, ito rin maganda. Okay? So when you research it, okay lang if you did it on a logical manner. Pero ang tendency ng tao, it has a habit na you only open your eyes to the green flags. Parang you're just finding evidence that confirm your pre-existing beliefs and you ignore the red flags. Again, it's okay if you find those green flags talaga that you also believe kasi baka tama ka rin pala. Ang mali lang sa confirmation bias is if you ignore the red flags or you ignore the other facts and evidence. Okay? So that's what you have to be careful sa confirmation bias. That leads me to my investment mistake number 4, selective information gathering. Okay? So tama sana that you're gathering information pero selective ka din naman. Okay? So that's an investment mistake that you might be encountering and I hope you'll be able to avoid. So how do you overcome this bias? Number 1, very important, challenge your thoughts. Okay? Lalo na if feel ninyo na you're in that bias already. Again, the purpose of this seminar is to be aware of these biases para by the time you experience it, you already are aware that you're in that and you now know how to overcome them. Okay? So first is to challenge your thoughts. And ito, medyo mahirap to sa human beings, no? Good if you can do it, but medyo challenging siya. Yung when you ask yourself, where can I be wrong? 'Di ba? Kahit not only sa stock investment, kahit normal life, no? Siyempre alam na parang we think of ourselves as very highly, no? So mataas yung tingin natin sa sarili natin. Kaya some people mahirap sa kanila tanungin yung self nila saan sila mali. Pero alam naman natin, no, when we come to a certain level of maturity, once we are able to ask that question, we are able to challenge our thoughts. Where can I be wrong? Saan ako mali dito sa assumptions ko? Okay? And one way for you to do that is to diversify information sources and perspectives. Okay? Yung tipong hindi lang yung sa ano mo, yung mga beliefs mo. Maghanap ka ng information sa iba rin. And mas maganda if varying perspectives. That's why I noted here on my third bullet point, especially those with opposing views than you. Okay? Yung tipong, sige, ito yung view ko. You acknowledge that. People would probably respect that as well. Pero you also find those na may opposing views. Kasi sometimes when you look at their views, parang magkakaroon ka ng different perspective. And that might be more insightful for you as an investor. No, na you overcome that bias, yung confirmation bias. No? So that's one, no? For me, this overcoming this bias is quite humbling. And that actually leads us later to another type of bias. Okay? So fortunately, si First Metrosec can help you. Okay? Sa when you already have access to our platforms, right? So when you go to the research tab, again, one of the biggest advantages of becoming a First Metrosec client is that you get to access our research reports for free. No, we don't ask for subscriptions from you para malaman nyo tong mga calls namin sa specific stock, whether we are buy, hold, or sell on that stock. You have access on this for free. And I hope helpful sa journey ninyo yung mga investment thesis or mga strategies that na present namin dito. And I hope when you trade, hopefully sa amin din naman na broker, because that's how we earn money, no? But I hope naging malaking tulong sa inyo. So for people naman na may magandang experience sa research reports namin, maybe you can drop in some comments dito, no, that if helpful sa inyo yung research reports namin. You can type in yung mga research reports na favorite ninyo, na para malaman din namin kung ano yung mga gusto ninyo. Okay, so again, when you go to company reports, malalaman nyo dyan yung mga stocks within our coverage and our specific calls sa kanila, whether buy, hold, and our respective target prices. So makikita nyo rin dyan yung fundamental report, so malalaman nyo kung updated na yan na call or hindi na siya updated. Okay? So that's research reports. Now, confirmation bias leads me to this another bias. Now, medyo in tandem siya paminsan. Yung overconfidence bias. Okay? By the way, let me get back to here. No? So, again, in discussing yung diversifying your sources, if you have other sources as well of the research insights, then you can confer, no? You can confer with them as well. So baka may mga thesis na medyo magkaparehas, and then you can decide if that's something for you or not. Okay? Now, that leads me to the next bias, which is overconfidence, wherein investors tend to overestimate their own abilities and knowledge. Siguro yung matatamaan dito are usually those na matagal na sa market, tapos medyo feel nila they have a Midas touch, kumbaga, na yung tipong feeling nila pag binili nila yung stock niyan, for some reason, umaangat siya, no? So careful tayo dyan kasi that might be overconfidence. And okay lang if the trade goes your way. Pero what if it goes the other way? Probably because the decision-making process might not be that optimal. Okay? Baka you were deciding because you have an inflated sense of control, no? Feel mo na tama ka always kasi for the past few months, profitable always yung trade mo, no? Pag ganun yung feeling, that's where unrealistic optimism comes in. Okay? Unrealistic na siya, na tipong eto, ano talaga to, tataas talaga to, no? Hindi mo nga chinek yung technicals kung buyer's market na ba or what, 'di ba? So, yan, I hope lalo na for you guys na medyo successful sa investing or trading, ito lang yung ano niya, parang miser part of it, na yes, might be good for your portfolio, pero sometimes we become overconfident. And when you become overconfident, malalaman ko yan when other clients who ask me, tapos they want to have some opinion sa portfolios nila, malalaman ko na overconfident sila because they tend to be under-diversified. Yung tipong may mga position sila na, again, this is just my opinion, no? But siguro if your portfolio is exposed 50% or 60% in just one stock, no? So parang sa portfolio mo, may isa kang stock na 60% ang portfolio allocation niya. Then that might be under diversification kasi kung isang stock mo is 60% na, Then you have other stocks pa. Konti na lang yung wiggle room mo. You only have remaining 40%. So baka may mga stocks ka doon na tag 20%, 10%, and 5%. So yun mga ganyan. So usually, yung under diversification, siguro if you only have 5 stocks siguro, no? Baka that might be under diversified. But again, it depends on what stocks you hold, no? So yun lang, you might consider to diversify it to mitigate risk. Okay? And with that, no, that's my next part here, underestimating risk. Okay? Yan yung demise talaga ng overconfidence. You will underestimate this because you think anything you touch turns to gold. Okay? And that's already overconfidence. So that leads to the investment mistake number 5, no? Overestimating one's capabilities. Okay? So how do we overcome that bias? Number 1, I hope you guys employ a systematic decision-making process. Because if you are systematic with your investment process, it takes away most of the emotions. Okay? Kasi later, magiging behavioral biases din yung emotional biases natin, no? But that's my point. If you have a systematic, logical decision-making process, it takes away most of the emotions. Okay? And how do you do that? You set realistic expectations. Yan. So ito rin, no, something that I realized myself as well, no, for the small number of years that I've been in the market, no, na parang syempre nung simula parang gusto mo na yung mga higher rates of return. Pero sometimes unrealistic sila na sometimes, no, may mga realistic numbers talaga diyan, no, and that varies from person to person. Yung tipong you can set a happy percentage of growth rate sa portfolio mo, and it's different from investor 1 to investor 2. Okay, like for example, if you're going to ask me, I'm okay if my portfolio is just earning around the average ng market. So ako, I'm happy already with 7 and 8% return. But again, that's me. That's probably not for everyone. Okay? But again, my point here is that you need to set realistic expectation, and that realistic expectation, you should have a number to it. Na, ano yun? What's your happy profit or growth ng portfolio mo? Okay? Next, acknowledge outcomes even they have a low probability. O ito, lalo na sa mga traders out there. No? Diba, when you trade, diba? When you enter, pag may stock that bounces sa support, part naman yun ng trading plan natin to have or calculate your risk to reward ratio. Okay? Pero yung iba, no? Yung iba, since nakita nila that, diba, history tends to repeat itself, nag-bounce na sa support, some people buy already with that, no? Buy at support, okay? Pero when you do that kasi, that tells me that you're 100% sure na after that bounce on support, it will go to the resistance of that uptrending channel. Kasi you missed out one step before buying that stock. And that step is to calculate your risk to reward ratio. Because ano yung risk to reward ratio? Kasi 'di ba, even though nag-bounce siya sa support sa uptrending channel, your expectation is it goes up. That's the reward of that trade. That's the potential reward, whatever that percentage is. Pero you have to acknowledge na you cannot control the market. Again, baka overconfident ka, di ba? You have to acknowledge that it can, no? It's two sides of the coin. The price can either go up or go down. So, you have to acknowledge that ano yung risk mo, no? If ever it's going to go down. Yan yung maganda sa pag-calculate ng risk to reward ratio before coming into the trade, because you acknowledge those two probabilities even before getting into the trade. You hope that it will go up to the resistance, but again, hindi yan hope lang na hope. You have charts naman to determine either structural siya or channel resistance as your take profit level. Pero you don't focus on that potential return. You also acknowledge yung other probability, which is yung risk na pwede siyang bumaba. And you have your own risk to reward ratio, depende sa inyo, 1:2, 1:3, or 1:5. But ang importante dyan is you acknowledge both scenarios, no matter how low the probability of that scenario is. No? So ako, pag naririnig ko yung tao na sinasabi niya na 100% sure, that tells me na meron ng overconfidence bias. Okay? Kasi you don't acknowledge things that have low probability. Because again, even that has a low probability, there's still a chance that that will happen. Okay? Now, kaya very important no to have ample diversification, no? So depende yan sa portfolio ninyo, but I hope you don't have overexposures in one single stock, in one specific industry lang, kasi ang ano niyan is that you tend to have less you'll be under diversified. And what if something bad happens to that industry or that specific stock, then malaki yung impact niya sa portfolio mo. So you must have proper diversification. Okay? And most importantly, lalo na dun sa mga, I hope, medyo experienced na and they feel like they're really good, no? I hope, no? I'm happy for you, but let's not forget na to stay humble. No? Stay humble because at the end of the day, maybe we just got lucky. Okay? Uh, there's this book that was recommended by Howard Marks no, of Oak Tree Capital na I think it was a book by Taleb no, na don't be fooled by randomness. Because again, at the end of the day, maybe our trades were just lucky. So again, stay humble guys, no matter how good we are with our respective portfolios, acknowledge outcomes even though they have low probability. Okay? So keep your feet on the ground guys. Even though with your years of experience, medyo maganda na yung mga hit ratios ninyo, you've been profiting a lot, but the market tends to humble us. Okay? And I think it's a better way to approach things para at least we are grounded with our investment decisions. Okay? So, yeah, that's how you overcome the bias. So, fortunately sa First Metrosec, no, when you go to our platform, you can really do all of the analysis necessary for you na hindi kayo maging overconfident, no? So, again, you can go to our research tab sa company, you can research whether you'd like to look at the valuation of the company for the past 5 years. By that, metrics like PE ratio, price to book ratio, or yung mga individual nila, EPS, price to book value per share, nandyan yan lahat sa valuation. And even the financials of the company for the past 5 years, you can see that as well. If you're a dividend investor, meron din dyang div history if you want to check on the schedules of how regularly they pay out the dividends. And syempre, disclosures related to that. And one thing that I'd like to highlight as well is this one. No? For you guys who know how to do your fundamental analysis, you can study the financials and valuation of the company in order for you to arrive at your fair value estimate of that stock. Okay, but one way for you to avoid overconfidence, lalo na pag you feel like magaling na talaga kayo, consider nyo rin ito, no? Again, we have a consensus target. Again tayo, if you do your fundamental analysis, you will arrive at a target price ninyo or a fair value estimate. Or even if you follow First Metrosec, meron din kaming target prices like si Jollibee, I think nasa 330 yung target price na namin as of the last update ko. But you might consider heeding the consensus as well. Ano ba yung tingin ng karamihan? No? For example, si First Metrosec, no? 330 siya. Pero hindi lahat nagsasabi 330. Some people like this one, may low estimate siya na 280. So merong analyst who studying Jollibee or may investment house who studied Jollibee tapos yung estimate nila sa kanya is 280. Okay? Pero ibig sabihin itong analyst na to or this investment house is probably very conservative sa estimates niya. Kaya 280 yung estimate niya. On the other hand of the spectrum, meron din mga optimistic kay Jollibee. Because meron 351, no? Yan yung target price niya, 351.28. That's the highest target price right now. And si First Metrosec sa amin 330, we are around the average. Okay? So nasa 322.37 ang average target price, kami nasa 330 kami. So in this case, nasa average yung estimate namin. So nasa sa inyo where you'd like to heed. Would you like to heed on the optimistic side of the estimate, or would you like to heed on the conservative side of the estimates, or baka okay kayo sa average? Then you apply that to your own portfolios. Okay? So yan. That's one of the features ng First Metrosec that can help you avoid overconfidence bias, no? Consensus. You don't only look at what you personally see the stock is the fair value of that stock. Hindi lang sa First Metrosec, you can also check consensus. Okay? So, ayan. Next, we also have a consensus corner research report that you can check. For example, if you want to look at the PSEI stocks, makikita mo dito yung potential profit and losses and yung consensus rating. And not only that, you can also check may mga non-PSEI stocks din na kasama dito sa report na to. Okay, so again, baka masama ninyo sa systematic decision-making process ninyo na you have your own, but you also check with consensus. Kasi baka consensus has another perspective that can offer you na better yung insights mo for that stock. Okay? Lalo na yung mga differing sa'yo. Yung baliktad yung tingin nila din. Paminsan may natututunan tayo doon. Okay? So, next, bias is overtrading. Ito sa mga active traders out there. I know sa mga long-term investors baka hindi to masyado relevant, no? But if you are an active trader, I hope you do not overtrade. Because if you trade frequently, I know that you're driven by the desire for short-term gains, which is again okay naman siya, no? Pero okay lang siya if you continuously profit from your trades. But alam naman natin, hindi always panalo sa trading, no? Because we acknowledge na it can go to our target price, it can go to our cut loss level. Yun nga, no? When you do your risk to reward ratio, you maximize your profits and you minimize your losses, and that's how you earn net profit sa trades. Okay? So, dangerous na yung overtrading lalo na if you're suffering a massive loss, okay? Or nagkaroon ka ng losing streak. Okay? Yung parang for that specific month, straight trades mo were losing trades, 'di ba? So, when that happens kasi paminsan some traders, because natatalo sila sa trades nila, they want to revenge, no? So parang gusto nilang bawiin yung mga talo nila, no? And sometimes when that happens, it might just lead you to more losses. Kasi hindi na logical yung trading process mo. It becomes a little bit emotional already. And okay lang if medyo nahahandle mo yung emotions mo, pero pag medyo it goes out of hand because alam mo tuloy-tuloy consistent yung talo mo for the past week or for the past month, parang nakaka-apekto siya emotionally. And sometimes, no, I'm not saying all the time naman, no, ang tendency niya is it will lead you to poor trading decisions. Yun lang naman yung ina-avoid natin sa over trading. Okay? So, some people I know nga, pag they have losing streaks, what they do, they close their positions, then close their laptop, then they take a break. Okay? Para lang mag cool down yung emotions after that losing streak. No? Sometimes you, 'di ba? When you're in the heat of the game, sometimes kailangan din natin magpahinga. Okay? Hindi naman natin kailangan magkaroon ng FOMO, yung fear of missing out. Kasi there's always opportunities sa market if we just know where to look. Okay? So, lalo na sa mga traders natin in attendance tonight, I hope you don't overtrade, lalo na if you're having a losing streak. Okay? So, yan. That leads me to investment mistake number 6, impatience. Ayan. Actually, yun, di ba? Pag nag-overtrade ka, impatience yun. So, at ito naman, I'll be speaking to long-term investors, no? Lalo na sa mga beginners, and if ever may mga students in attendance dito or yung mga young professionals still starting to build their portfolio, no? So, if you're the type of investor who's doing peso cost averaging, sabihin natin, you're doing the the minimum na 1,000 per month. Tapos let's say you missed out 2 months in a year. So sabihin natin 10,000 lang yung na-i-invest mo every year, and assuming it grows at around 8%, which historically yun naman yung growth ng stock market, for you to reach, no, kung ginagawa mo to 10K annually, 1,000 per month, missing 2 months in a year, you'll reach your first 100K in 7.6 years. Okay, so dito pa lang, this tells you that stock market investing is not something quick, no? Building wealth takes time. But in this case, your first 100K might take 7.6 years. Now, for your next 100K, that's 200K. If you do the same habit, 10,000 annually at 8% growth rate, you will only need 4.7 years to reach your 200K. For your next 100K, that's 300K, it will take you 3.4 years. Okay? For your next 100K, that's 400K, that's 2.7 years. Again, that's doing the same thing, no? Hindi pa tayo nag-usap dito if you add on to that, no? But if you do that, di ba? And your next 100K, that's 500K, that's 2.2 years. Okay? So, what's my point here for those na nagpe-peso cost average out there, just doing this regular investing strategy, no? This is the hardest because this is the longest. Hindi mo mafe-feel, no? Yung growth ng pera mo masyado. Kasi imagine your first 100K, 7.6 years. Parang ang tagal nun, 'di ba? Parang ano siya, mabagal, 'di ba? But I'm emphasizing this because this is the most important part. Kasi if you're able to weather this part, no, itong pinakamahaba na time, it gets easier. Bakit? 'Di ba nakikita natin the time it takes is less. So parang even if we do the same habit of peso cost averaging 1,000 per month, 10,000 per year, it will get easier as time goes by because of the power of compounding. So ito lang yung kailangan nating itawid, no? Yung tumal sa simula. Okay, and ako, I can personally attest to that na tipong noon happy na ako sa ganun, no? Tapos pero mabagal, no? Parang sobrang konti. But if you look back, no, parang if you just reach a certain threshold, darating ka rin sa time that you will really feel itong nakikita nyo na mathematical simulation na it really gets easier. No? So, lalo na if you are reinvesting your dividends or yung mga profits ng trades nyo. So, I hope this will be the experience that you will be going through in this long-term na investment. Because again, let's not forget, equities is a good for long-term investment. Okay, so with that in mind, you just need to hurdle the first few years and it will get easier if you just keep the discipline. Okay? So yeah. So how do you overcome overtrading? No, ito I'll be calling out si Lolo Warren, 'di ba? Sabi ni Lolo Warren, the stock market is a no called strike game. You don't have to swing at everything, no? I hope lalo na sa mga beginners, no, or sa mga active traders who tends to overtrade, no? Sometimes kasi 'di ba, ang dami nating nakikita sa charts ng mga opportunities na feel natin kailangan nating pasukan lahat, 'di ba? But when you do your position sizing, 'di ba? When you do position sizing, alam mo yung limits ng pwede mong open position. That itself can really help you to not swing at everything. No, kasi yung lalo na pagbaguhan, no, yung ginagawa pa minsan is lahat ng opportunities pinapasukan, parang walang filter, no? But again, you can always wait for your pitch. No? Like in the mga baseball players, 'di ba? Meron naman yan silang box diyan. Kung pasok diyan, they can be called strike, no? Pero if nasa labas, they can be out, no? Out yung tawag, balls yung tawag doon. Pero pag dito lang tayo sa papasok dito sa square na to for the umpire to call a strike, 'di ba? Within that, meron yung mga regions that you have a good batting average. If you do your practice, alam mo kung saan yung region na yan. And you don't have to swing, no? Kahit dyan pa pumasok yung bola, if hindi siya doon sa sweet spot mo, okay? You don't have to swing at it. Diba? Because you can wait for your pitch. And I'll just recall yung isang investment mistake that I mentioned kanina, impatience. Okay? Impatience. No? So, you'll get to know that as you invest more, no, magkaroon kayo ng experience, malalaman niyo what kind of investor you are, malalaman mo rin anong type of investment strategy yung hiyang sa'yo. And with that pa lang, malalaman mo na that not all opportunities are for you. Meron kang mga opportunities na medyo maganda yung batting average mo, and you just have to wait for that sweet spot or that pitch. Okay? So, I hope makatulong yan sa inyo na not to overtrade. Okay, so next, we also have this herd instinct behavior, no? I see this a lot sa social media na parang 'di ba may mga stocks na nagte-trend. By trend I mean sa social media, no, not sa chart na trending siya, 'di ba? But may mga matunog, no? Sabi natin matunog na stocks, no? That's why you see this graphic, 'di ba? Na ito sila, they just keep on running, no? I don't know where we're going, but from the look of this crowd, it's gotta be good, no? Lalo na pag marami, no? Ako may specific example ako dito, but I don't have to name that stock. Pero sobrang sikat niya noon na the price went really high, 'di ba? Pero with the herd instinct behavior, sometimes lalo na pag marami na yung kumita, doon pa siya sumisikat, 'di ba? Okay lang if naka-profit ka na, pero what if late mo siyang narinig? Medyo late to the party ka na. When I say late to the party, nasa medyo mataas na yung presyo niya, oversold conditions na siya, tapos doon ka papapasok. Na wherein, alam naman natin that may tendency siya to go down, lalo na pag oversold level siya, di ba? So, my suggestion to you is, may tendency itong investors to follow the crowd. Again, this is the herd instinct behavior. Instead of their own analysis, okay? Parang they heed others than themselves as well, no? So, that's why we hear this a lot, no? So many people can't be wrong. They might know something we don't. And when you have that thinking, medyo dangerous siya because that tells us na baka nasa herd instinct ka na or herd behavior ka. And again, as human beings, that's natural for us. Kasi nga tayo, di ba? We want to become part of a certain community. That's how we thrive, no? As we evolve dito sa mundo, how we evolve as Homo sapiens, no? Na we want where everybody is, no, but sometimes sa investing that can be bad for you. Okay, so again, acknowledge nyo lang, it's very hard to do this lalo na pag marami, lalo na sa peers mo, lahat sila kumita na doon, no, tapos ikaw hindi pa. I remember another one quote again, no, that's the hardest thing to do when you see all your friends are making money. Okay? But careful tayo dyan kasi baka we're late to the party or we're in the herd instinct behavior. Okay, so that leads me to investment mistake number 7, blindly following the hype. Okay, so lalo na sa stocks and yung mga medyo risky na stocks, medyo dito prone yung hype. Okay? So how do you overcome this herd instinct? You do your own research. Again, ito paulit-ulit na lang, and your process should be systematic. You should develop your own opinions and make your own decisions. Okay? But when you do your own decisions, no, balik na pa rin tayo sa ibang tips kanina. You acknowledge, no, ikaw, you have your bias, no, but don't discount those low probability scenarios. Dapat imputed siya doon sa strategy mo. Okay? And that's the reason why, no, if you have attended our Guided Investor Fearless Trader Learning Series, we have a module there where we name it Build Your Own Trading System. And that's what we really advocate sa First Metrosec, no, that you build your own, no? You can seek help, pero at the end of the day, dapat sarili mo yun. No? You trade at your own risk kasi this is an online platform. Kayo naman yung pumipindot ng buy and sell button, di ba? So you should have your own opinion and own decisions, and you should have your own trading system. Okay? So fortunately sa First Metrosec, ang dami naming analytics, no, from fundamentals, dividend yield ba yan, price to earnings, whatever, no, kung anong part ng investment system mo or trading system. May mga technicals din dito, but you might prefer charts for this, di ba? So we have tons of analytics sa platform namin. We also have Traders Playbook, no? Ito highlight ko lang. Sobrang ganda nitong Traders Playbook. It tells you what happened, no? Usually news driven siya. Then we tell you what our analyst thinks about that. So we have an analyst for specific sectors. Then sasabihan niya kayo ano yung thoughts niya on the fundamental side and ano yung sa technical side. And number 3 is yung recommendation. No, doon sa recommendation, usually may analysis and trading plan. So ina-analyze ng research team namin sa price action niya and we indicate their trading plan. Like for this one, the trading plan for GFC is to accumulate at current levels around 203 pesos is recommended. And again, this is just a recommendation. Ang ano ko sa inyo is ang tip ko sa inyo is that you use this as a filter for you guys. Na tipong when you read this, you use that and check if align siya doon sa sarili mong trading plan and trading strategy. Again, you can use this as a filter lang or a notif for you. Kasi hindi naman talaga natin nasusubaybayan lahat. So, maganda dito sa Traders Playbook, we also recommend some take profit levels and stop loss levels. Okay? Tapos, this is usually helpful for short-term traders. Pero sa mga long-term investors, lalo na pag meron kaming coverage sa stock na yan, we also remind you of the fundamental target price. And in this case, Jollibee nasa 330 kami as of this moment. Okay? So, makikita nyo dito a merge of fundamentals and technicals. Alright. So, syempre, no, once you read the Trader's Playbook, meron din naman kaming charting tool. It's powered by TradingView na you can check for yourself if you agree with that trading plan. No? And I think that's really key. Kasi again, my recommendation to you is to have your own system and to have your own decisions and trading plan. So you align that to you. Kasi magkakaiba naman tayo ng mga moving averages, magkakaiba tayo how we identify the support and resistance, so on and so forth. You complementary siya. No? So i-complement mo yung Traders Playbook Research Report namin sa trading plan mo. Pero masusunod pa rin is you kasi you'll be the one to make the decision. Okay? So that leads me to my next part, no? Anchoring bias, no? I think we are in the tail end of our presentation already. Wherein investors tend to hold investments that have lost value. I see people raising their hand, but siguro we can cater questions later. Some people have already placed their question in the Q&A panel of Zoom, so feel free to put that there. If you have questions already, we can discuss that later. Okay? So this anchoring bias, going back to the discussion, wherein investors tend to hold investments that have lost value. O ito no, yung tipong yung entry mo was a short-term trade, no? Nag-chart ka, buy at support, take profit at this, pero hindi pumunta sa take profit level mo. Bumaba siya, no? Nag-breakdown siya sa support, which is a risk when you have a short-term trade. Pero since yung bias mo is gusto mo yung stock, feel mo makaka-recover siya, you shifted from a short-term trader or short-term trade entry into a long-term investor. Sabihin mo, ito makaka-recover lang to. No? So nag-shift ka from a short-term trade entry to a long-term investor. Ang tendency pati niyan, kung saan mo nabili yung presyo, yun yung nagiging peg mo sa fair value estimate niya kasi yun nakikita mo always sa portfolio mo. No? So kahit nagbi-bleed na yan siya, paminsan hinahawakan mo pa rin siya. No? And paminsan nakakalimutan natin na that's just your average buying price. Meron pa rin siyang fundamental target, a fundamental fair value estimate. No? So let's be very mindful of that. No? Kasi kung hindi na siya pasok dun sa trading plan mo, part naman yun ng trading. No? I'm talking here of short-term traders no, na cut loss no, is part of your trading strategy. Okay? Yan, for long-term investors lang, yun lang, no? Don't peg yourself to your buying price. Do not always revert back to the fair value estimate. Whether ikaw naghanap noon or baka you were using the research reports ng First Metrosec, paminsan nag-change din yung target price niyan because of developments sa industry and the company itself. So keep yourself abreast, no? Sa mga different developments. So that's anchoring bias, and that leads me to investment mistake number 8, holding on to losers. Now, again, as a short-term trader, huwag niyong, don't get married to your stocks. No? Hindi niyo yan asawa. That's just an investment vehicle for you to grow your money. Kung bumagsak siya more than what you can tolerate, which you identified already yan sa trading plan ninyo, you should be comfortable in taking the loss. No, again, I'm talking here for short-term traders, not long-term investors. Kasi as short-term traders, 'di ba, we maximize our profits and minimize our losses. And that's our way to have a net profit. Okay? So, paminsan kasi balik ako doon sa isang bias na binanggit ko sa simula. Again, do you remember that? That is loss aversion bias. Hirap tayo mag-sell kasi lugi, 'di ba? So, paminsan hindi natin na-follow yung trading plan natin. And na-discuss ko na kanina, that's probably loss aversion bias. Okay? So, again, very important lang no to cut loss as early as possible. Depende yan siya sa risk tolerance ninyo. Some have a tight cut loss, 5% lang, cut loss na sila. Yung iba medyo maluwag, no? Mga 15% yung cut loss nila. Pero yung iba medyo nasa 8 to 10%. Depende yan siya sa risk tolerance ninyo. But what I want to emphasize lang is that if you cut loss at 5%, you only need a 5.3% profit to break even. If you cut loss at 10%, you only need 11.1% sa next trade profit to break even. Pero pag na-bleed mo yung position mo, no, let's say umabot ka sa 50%, noon ka pa magka-cut loss, you'll need 100% profit sa next trade para ma-break even mo siya. So my point here is that cut loss as early as possible. Depende na yan, no? Range na lang yan sa risk tolerance niyo. But ako personally, around 10% might be a good one na hindi din siya masyadong tight, hindi din siya masyadong manuwag. But it depends sa inyo. Kayo magsiset niyan. Okay? Now, fortunately sa First Metrosec, we have already conditional orders and I hope you've been using them already. So sa mga people in attendance na gumagamit na ng conditional orders, please share your love sa mga orders namin. Whether you have a buy on breakout play, you can use our stop limit order na hintayin mo yung breakout. It should pass through this certain trigger price before you buy up until a certain price. And you don't have to be focusing sa market during that time kasi na-set mo na siya initially. So you just wait for this one to play out. If it doesn't play out, then no trades will be executed. Tapos pag may hawak ka na dyan, we actually have another conditional order called the order cancels the other. 'Di ba? Pag nagte-trade ka, you have take profit and stop loss level. So this order cancels the others allows you to set that up automatically kahit hindi ka nakatutok sa market. Kasi you can set up a limit if touch na conditional order for your take profits and you can also set a stop limit order for your stop loss. So since this is order cancels the other, whichever happens first. If the take profit happens, then it cancels the stop loss. If the stop loss happens, it cancels the take profit. So dito pa lang, you can protect yourself from losses and take advantage of the profits. Okay? So with that, that leads me to the next, which is emotional biases. So itong emotional biases, normal to, no? Parang all throughout the biases I've mentioned, parang may element siya of emotion. Kasi usually niyan, people go through these periods, no, na from optimism, thrill, and euphoria. And usually, dito nagiging excited yung tao. And usually niyan, late pumapasok yung tao. Usually pag euphoric na, pag marami ng masaya, doon pa sila pumapasok. So they buy at this level, they buy high. Tapos since nag-take profit na, bumababa yung presyo, they feel anxious, then they have denial, hindi pa nag-stop loss, no? Hindi nag-cut loss. So bumagsak ng bumagsak yung presyo hanggat nag-panic, nag-capitulation yung market, they reach a point of despondency na sobrang lugmok na. And some people, what they do is dito pa talaga sila kasi sobrang sakit ng experience na to because of loss aversion. They feel so much pain sa losses. Dito pa sila nagka-cut loss. Usually, very deep na yung cut loss. And if you do that, what you did is exactly to buy high and sell low. And that's the way for you to earn some money sa market. Dapat baliktad siya. You should buy low and sell high. So paminsan napapansin natin yan sa market no na pag medyo bearish yung mga tao, lalo na pag sobrang dami, sobrang bearish na talaga, that might present to us an opportunity. No, pwede tayong maghanap ng mga quality stocks na nabugbog, 'di ba? So hanap ka diyan. But again, manage your risk as well because if you're able to buy the fear, then if things go well, no? Then this cycle reopens. Then pag euphoric na yung mga tao, you sell the greed. Okay? So you buy the fear and you sell the greed. Buy low and you sell high. And that can lead you to better profits. Okay? So that leads me to my second to the last investment mistake. That is letting emotions drive decisions. 'Di ba? Paulit-ulit ko sinasabi kanina, mas appropriate for traders and investors to have a logical decision-making process. But i-acknowledge natin that we are human beings, normal na magkaroon ng emotions. But we impute that sa ating strategy. Okay? So like sa Philippine stock market, it's a volatile ride, no? There are years that it goes up, it goes down, sometimes big swing up, sometimes a big swing down, paminsan walang profits. Again, if you're investing for the short term sa market, medyo volatile talaga siya, prone ka to losses, prone ka rin to gains, pero volatile yung experience mo. But if you just zoom out, no? You take a step back, you have a long-term perspective sa stock market, we can see here that short-term volatility is not necessarily indicative of a long-term trend. So wag natin pa rin kalimutan that stocks is a long-term investment vehicle. Okay? But you can take opportunity or advantage of the swings nila. So depende na yun what type of investor you are. So that's why medyo nagsiswing ako from talking to investors and short-term traders kasi alam ko magkakaiba naman kayo lahat in attendance. Okay? So if you'd like to just follow the performance of the market, you can consider FMETF, the one and only exchange traded fund in the country, wherein it tracks or mirrors the performance of the index. Right now, nasa 100.5 per share siya. And ibig sabihin yan, minimum is just around 1,100. So yung napakita ko sa inyo kanina that why your first 100K is important, you can apply that here sa FMETF or any other index funds that you would like to consider. Okay? So again, peso cost averaging, I mentioned this already a while ago. You just invest a fixed amount at regular intervals regardless of the market trend. Again, now I'm talking to the long-term investors there naman in attendance. Okay, so example na lang para mabilis intindihin, no? We have si Paul and si Mark. They want to retire 30 years from now. Si Paul, he wants to start today kahit maliit pala yung kaya niya invest. Si Mark, sabi niya later na pag malaki na yung pera ko, no? So, si Mark sabi niya, I'll do 1,500 kasi yun lang yung budget ko ngayon. Si Mark naman, alam niya na late siya nagsimula. So, hahabulin niya si Paul. So, sabi niya, I'm going to invest 3,000. Dodoblihin ko. For sure, mas malaki yung mako-contribute ko. They invested sa PSE Index Fund para average lang yung returns. And after 30 years, pagdating nila ng retirement, ang total contribution ni Mark is 720,000. Pero, si Paul, since 1.5 lang siya per month, that's 540,000. But since they let their money grow in time, the projected portfolio value of Mark is nasa 1.7 million if we assume an 8% growth rate. Okay? So still, good job kay Mark kasi that's him making his money work for him. 720, if he just spent it, wala na yun. If he saved it, meron pa din, pero baka konti lang yung growth. But since long-term naman yung goal niya, the stocks allowed him to have a projected portfolio na 1.7 million. Si Paul naman on the other hand, nasa 2.1 million pesos. So medyo counterintuitive siya, no? How could Paul have a higher projected portfolio value na mas maliit naman yung investment niya? Kasi yan yung usual nating iniisip, 'di ba? Ang konti ng kaya kong invest, kahit lumaki ito, tumaas ito ng 10%, hindi ko siya masyado mafe-feel. Later na siguro ako mag-invest if malaki na yung pera ko para kung umangat siya, mas ramdam ko yung angat niya. But I hope this example help you realize na it's really not about how much money you put in. Kasi kung how much money you put in, si Mark yung panalo. 'Di ba? Kasi doble yung ininvest niya. They invested in the same fund naman, same growth rate assumptions. Their main difference is when they started. So that's why I'll take this opportunity to encourage you to start as early as possible. Okay? So pag napag-aralan nyo na, naintindihan nyo na yung risk involved sa different investments, naintindihan nyo na yung appropriate time horizon, may goal na kayo to achieve, and okay kayo sa expected returns, then I hope you get to start as early as possible. So that's my last, no? I'll introduce my last investment mistake, no? Number 10, not starting as early as possible. Because here, no, I have here a simulation of why it matters to start early and save regularly. Again, same example lang, no? Binabaan ko na lang para parang minimum siya, yung 1,000, di ba? If you just do that up until age 60, which is usual retirement, if you start at age 25, it can grow to 2.2 million. If you start at age 30, it's 1.5 million. If you start at age 40, that's 589,000. I'm showing this to you just to emphasize the power of starting as early as possible and the power of investing regularly. So again, ang importante dito, no matter what life stage we are, ang importante dito is pag na-appreciate na natin, we can able to take action. Okay, but the earlier we start, the better. Now, because when it comes to investing, time is literally gold. No? So, I think doon sa equation ng compounding, no, PVNRT, the money you put in is a multiplier, but the time you are invested is exponential yung impact niya. So, alam natin that time is really a great asset, no? So, yeah. So with that, I'd like to summarize, no? It's already 7:30 time, tama lang din yung oras ko, no? So decoding the investor's mind, how to overcome behavioral biases. I discussed 8, no? So number 1, mental accounting. Number 2, loss aversion. Number 3, confirmation. Number 4, overconfidence. Number 5, overtrading, herd instinct, anchoring bias, and emotional biases. And each of those biases, I was able to share with you common investment mistakes because of these behavioral biases. And I also shared to you some tips on how to overcome them. And I hope you remember this discussion as you go through your investment journey. I hope ma-remember ninyo to when you experience them, no? And I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from my session. And gusto namin malaman, no, bakit niyo nagustuhan yung session or how we can actually do better. We want to elevate your market education experience. So I'd like to ask you, no, to scan this QR code para makabigay kayo ng feedback sa amin where we did well, where can we still improve. And yun, let us know, no, how we can do better or how you enjoyed this session. Okay, so I'll give you mga 5 seconds to take a screenshot or scan this QR code para malaman namin. Okay? All right. Now, if you learn a lot from this session, feel free to invite us pala, no? Kung feel ninyo gusto nyo tong session na to sa respective na mga groups ninyo or baka sa company ninyo, baka may mga HR professionals here or you can recommend us to your HR kung gusto niyo magkaroon ng financial and financial wellness na sessions like this one. Doesn't have to be this intermediate level na discussion. Pwede yung mga 101 sessions, we can do that. Or mga students dito sa mga organization or any form of event that you feel maganda mag-conduct ng financial and investment literacy session, you can feel free to invite us. Here are our most popular topics, no? So parang for the length of time that we've been doing this, ito talaga yung usual na ini-invite kami. But don't limit yourself here. We can customize presentations for you. Sabihan nyo lang kami and give us time. We can tailor fit a session for you. We can do it online, on-site, or we can do workshop or peer lecture, and yung time it takes, let us know, no? Kahit 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, no? Sweet spot will be 1 hour, no? But if you can only give us 30 minutes, okay lang din, no problem with that. Okay? And for those of you who'd like to get started, account opening is very fast and convenient and seamless. Just download our mobile app, First MetroSec Go, click sign up now, do the online process, upload the documents. You only need government issued ID, proof of address, proof of bank account, and minimum initial funding of 1,000 pesos. Tapos when they ask you, how did you learn about us? please put their biases. Okay? Para malaman namin that you came from this session. Okay? And when you have an account with us, you now get to have an access to trade stocks, invest in bonds, or kung gusto niyo mutual funds or UITFs, pwede rin. No? So, we are becoming an all-in-one investment platform. So, I hope magagamit niyo siya for whatever investment purpose you have. And because of this, we've won numerous awards in 2024. I think this is 15 awards. But I'll take this opportunity not to brag, but to thank you guys. Lalo na kayo, all of you here are existing First Metrosec clients. So thank you so much, no? Because this awards is actually more of you than us. So thank you for giving us these awards. And if you'd like to learn more about us, I hope you already follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, may mga podcast kami, in X, in YouTube, may mga webinars kami. This one will not be uploaded sa YouTube pala kasi this is exclusive session for you. Hopefully, nasa Viber groups kayo namin for the regular updates. Paminsan, meron kaming na-upload na video sa TikTok and LinkedIn. Okay, so ayan. With that, that leads me to my question and answer. I think tama lang yung oras ko, 7:35. I can take mga 15 minutes worth. Okay, let me see. Ang dami sa chat box. Okay, but unahin ko po muna dito sa Q&A panel. Okay, kasi mas ma-streamline to siya. Okay, so we have here a question. Is it possible to have this recording I think considering this is an exclusive session, will probably not upload it sa YouTube namin. But you can email us. You can email events@firstmetrosec.com.ph. You can see that's a chat box as well. I think nalagay doon ng kasamahan ko yung email na yon. To request for the recording, yeah, it's recorded naman so we can give you a copy. But it will be exclusively for you kumbaga. Okay? So, I answered that live. We have here another question. What will be the best strategy to get to the first 100K using at least 2 stocks? Okay, do you have a practical example? This is challenging to answer, no? Kasi number one, sabi mo at least 2 stocks, no? But that might be under-diversified kung dalawang stocks lang. Tapos, ang daming considerations, no? Kung dalawang stocks lang yung titingnan talaga natin in order to achieve that. Kasi a lot can happen through the years, no? Na baka maganda yung performance, baka pangit yung performance, and those 2 stocks might be not be consistent sa portfolio ninyo. Okay, so yung example na yon, best applied yun siya sa mga index funds or sa mga index tracking funds or mga mutual funds or mga UITFs na diversified yung portfolio mo. Okay? So, I'm sorry but it's challenging to give a practical example kasi yung stock trading, it's very volatile na hindi natin masasabi yung dalawang stocks lang yun, pwede ka na. And ako nga, if I can share to you, yung peso cost averaging, my personal opinion about it is best siya gamitin in diversified na mga portfolios or funds. I don't recommend using peso cost averaging in just one stock. So, may iba na, for example, gustong-gusto nila yung Ali or yung ibang mga stocks na gusto nila personally. What they do is peso cost averaging for long periods of time. Kasi pwede naman yun siya, pero sayang naman yung swings ng stocks, no? Kasi ano yun no? May mga periods naman na maganda investan yung ganong stock. May mga periods din naman na maganda investan yung ibang klaseng stocks. That's why we release market outlook and strategy at least twice a year. Yung mga traders playbook namin ng mga session para ma-update kayo. Like noon, 'di ba? Parang yung stance namin sa market is to go prepare for the early upcycle. But with what's happening with Trump tariffs right now, medyo na-steer yung pot. So we're going to reintroduce a barbell strategy to include dividend paying stocks para to hedge those uncertainties of the Trump policies. So yan, medyo meron tayong kailangan na nimbleness when it comes to that. Okay? So I hope I answered that question. Yan. So are you sharing? I think I answered this question about recording as well. Ayan. So there's question here as well. May I have the email address po to request for the recordings? You can check the chat box. It's events@firstmetrosec.com.ph. Okay, so yeah, I think I answered most of your questions. I think I also shared a while ago how to open a First Metrosec account already. So I think that's well covered already. So before we end, balikan ko lang po muna dito sa chat box. Baka meron ditong mga questions. Here's a question, no? Hope you can include a dividend screener feature where I can input my portfolio and I can see my dividend earnings. Okay, we hear you, sir, no? So, we'll take note of that kasi for now, manual yung process. Kahit sa akin, sa personal ko, manual yan. No? I have some dividend paying investments as well. So, manual muna yung monitoring ko for now. But I hope yes, that's really helpful din talaga yung dividend earnings. One of the new features that we have right now is makikita mo na yung growth ng portfolio mo through time. No? So, malalaman mo if yung overall portfolio mo has been growing. But the data starts as of November last year lang. So, hopefully for longer periods of time, makikita mo yung growth ng portfolio mo. Whether you're invested in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or UITFs, makikita mo siya in whole. Okay? So, I hope makita nyo yun, no? May button lang doon, may toggle button doon sa portfolio for you to see that. Here's another question na pero naka-PM lang sa akin sa mga hosts and panelists. Sir, I am very new on stock market. Open my first Metrosec account last year. What is the best or kind of a financial instrument to invest for the long term? No, so number one, na-mention very limited naman, no? Ito yung mahirap sa ganito kasi very limited yung data. There's more questions to ask for me to give you the best answer. But based lang sa binigay mo. Number one, invest for long term daw. So long term yung horizon mo, you might consider stocks because yun naman talaga yung long term na financial instrument. Pero you have to first, no, before you get into that, i-check mo muna kung fit yung risk tolerance mo for stocks. Kasi baka hindi mo kaya yung volatility market. Baka you're underestimating that long term. And by the way, ask mo muna, ano ba yung long term mo? Kasi yung ibang tao, yung long term nila, 10, 20 years, 30 years. Pero yung sa iba, yung long term nila is 5 years. Actually, kung 5 years, that's considered medium term lang and baka bonds yung appropriate for that specific investment, no? So, yun. Again, just basing on your a question, probably stocks, no? If hiyang ka sa risk involved with investing in stocks. How I wish you can give me more details, no? So, siguro, if there's opportunity, I'll be able to give a better answer. But for now, yan na muna. Okay. We have here another question. Will you share the deck? Yeah, we can share you the presentation. Just shoot us an email. Again, events@firstmetrosec.com.ph. Okay? Ayan. Sabihin nyo lang doon that you'd like to request for a copy of the presentation. Alright. Ayan, no? May mga compliments pa dito sa chat box. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you found this webinar excellent. I hope we will see that in the feedback form. Yan. Okay, last scan. Ayan. Okay, so I think I was able to answer all the questions already. Last na lang, we have here an anonymous attendee. If investing in index funds, is it wise to invest in different funds? Ayan. So yung tanong niya, if mag-invest ka ba daw sa index funds, wise ba daw na to invest in different index funds like Sun Life, PhilAm? Again, these are available sa First Metrosec platform. Or just stick to one considering that they only track the PSEI? My answer to your question, sir, is the latter. If you're investing in the index fund, at the end of the day, they are designed to track the index. Their components and their weights should be equal to that of the index. Kasi kung hindi sila index tracker, 'di ba? So if you're into index funds, since parehas lang naman sila ng laman, there's no sense diversifying when it comes to the fund providers like Sun Life, PhilAm, or others. Kasi meron naman yung index funds lahat. So if index fund lang, hanap ka ng fund provider na pinakahiyang ka and you just invest in that. At the end of the day, pare-parehas lang yan sila. One major difference might be their management fee. Okay? And when it comes to management fees, since they're just investing it in the same assets, baka mas maganda yung impact sa portfolio ninyo if you choose the lowest management fee. And merong filter sa FundSmart that can help you do that. Okay? Filter nyo. Okay, so I hope I was able to answer the question. Ayan. Okay, sige. So I think I answered all questions and it's already 7:45, so tama lang 6 to 6:30, then 15 minutes na Q&A. So thank you so much everyone. I'm happy to see na umabot tayo ng 100 plus attendees kanina. I think we went as high as 115 ata if I'm not mistaken, and I'm happy that 90 of you stayed up until the end. So with that, thank you so much guys, and I hope I was able to help you decode your investor's mind, na aware ko kayo sa mga different behavioral biases and investment mistakes, and I hope I was able to give you good na mga tips on how to avoid them moving forward. And with that, thank you so much guys, and happy investing everyone. All the best in your respective portfolios. Good night. Bye-bye.